What's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back in the building, and we got some things to talk about today, y'all. I gotta get into this Married to Medicine thing. Your boy Carlos King, executive producer extraordinaire, calling for the same thing I've been calling for all season long. So we're gonna get into that and what was said and all that good stuff. We also got to talk about, Serena Williams. Now, this is a break from I will sometimes talk about pop culture stuff when it is of interest to me. But for the most part, I know I like reality TV. But because I saw this story breaking and I was so touched, I felt like we needed to get into a little discussion about it, okay? We also got to talk about your girl, Wendy Williams. She got some things to say about Erica Mena and the Safaree. Now, you guys know that the Love and Hip Hop shows are starting to get back into filming. And if you didn't know, now you know, okay? Now, you guys knew that I'll get into that in a second. Before we dive into it, make sure you guys drop that location down in that good chatterization. I see we got Kylie in the place to be. Come on now. We got Huntsville, Alabama. Hey. I see y'all. Jacksonville, Indiana. Your girl from Compton. Hey. Boston, Iowa. The UK is in the place to be. We got Maryland, ATL, McKinney, Texas, Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay. We got New York City's in the place to be as well. Flower Mound, Texas, I see you. Philly in the house. Las Vegas, Pace, Florida. Yonkers. Ain't that where Mary J. Blige is from? I believe that is. New Orleans, you dig? Antigua and what is that? Barbuda? Okay, come on now. U.S. Embassy Baghdad checking in. Hey, Toronto, Canada. I see y'all. Key West, Mobile, Alabama, Birmingham, UK. Come on now. I see y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Listen, let's go ahead and stage dive into our first topic of the day. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. I got a little doctor's appointment when I get off of this piece right here. So we're gonna run through these news stories, okay? Yes, come on, Mountain Kitty, my boo is in the building. Okay. First things first. All right. So we're going to talk about Erica Mena and Safaree. Now, you guys may recall that just a couple of months ago, they was talking about, divorcing or separating or what have you. But now all of a sudden they is back together with a brand new baby on the way. Now, shout out to my Love and Hip Hop fans who are in the building right now. Go ahead and give me, a hands up if you guys are into Love and Hip Hop. Now, here's the thing about that situation. I honestly had the same thoughts that Wendy Williams had. She basically said on her show, she says, you know what? Erica Mena and Safaree, they need to grow up and grow into being parents. And let me just say this. I understand that some of the antics that occur may be for, clicks and views, to be quite honest with you. That's kind of how I feel about it. And I get it because they are in the realm of reality TV, so they got to keep people interested, keep people going to the OnlyFans that they have, and all that good stuff like that. I'm not mad at they hustle. I just kind of feel like I want them to stop, the public makeup to breakup is just kind of played out at this point to me, because I just feel like we're entering a phase of reality TV where we can pretty much predict what some of these people gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Which makes watching the shows a little less fun. It's like, I just feel like as grown folks, we ain't really putting our business, like we not really going out there like, oh, we married, but we unfollowed each other on social media to keep people, you know what I'm saying? And then only for you to get back together and pop back up with a baby on the way. Now, congrats on the new baby, congrats on that. But I just kind of feel like we're over this stage of reality TV. If we're gonna do this, Right. Thank you, Grace, for the super chat, who says, love, and hip hop. It's a great train wreck TV. Absolutely. Thank you. I just kind of feel like we're tired of these shenanigans. And that's exactly what it feels like, is shenanigans. And I guess, it probably does keep them booked and busy and paid. But I'm just saying, as a viewer, I feel like it's time to take a new track. You know what I'm saying? It's time to walk a new road. We don't need to do this. At this point in time, I feel like Erica Mena, she's going to be hustling in this way. I feel like she could have out baby books, books on parenting, stuff like that. Safaree should be putting out new music, producing and coaching younger artists and that sort of thing. I just feel like this type of situation that they're giving us, I just feel like this is not the good look right now. You know what I mean? It's just not what I'm feeling. And I think what has led me down this path, and I'm probably a bit spoiled by this, is when we look at Remy Ma and Papoose. Now, granted, Remy ain't put out an album yet, which we have been waiting for, but I just kind of feel like I like the way that they hold each other down, and they are very non-problematic in terms of how they move in their marriage. Their marriage, to me, seems more sacred than any amount of fame could ever be. That's what we want to actually see more of. To be quite honest with you, especially coming from a pandemic wherein, we had to start getting real about who we are as people. We've gone through so much. We want to see more positive portrayals of Black people and Black love. And I just feel like Erica and Safaree, y'all need to start taking the Remy and Papoose route and figure out ways to work together to get the bag instead of these antics. That's just me. Okay. Now, we got that out the way. Dante's Brian, who says, back again, done my morning CNN, time for the Richie Skye. Hey, glad you got that CNN this morning. Shout out to our people over at Fox 5 DC. They had me on again this morning to do Celebrity Dish. We talked a lot of good hot topics. So, got to keep that news going. Thank you, Dantes. Okay, so let's get on over into this other story. Now, we got to talk about this, y'all. We got to talk about it. Okay. Now, again, normally I don't talk about a lot of things going on in the pop culture landscape. Okay. Except when a story so moves me, or except if I'm doing hot on Celebrity Dish or Hot Topics on another show. But right here, y'all know I like to keep it to reality TV based, But I had to talk about this for a second here, okay? We got to talk about this for a second here. And I just want you guys, if you're seeing this story, give me some hands up in that chatterization. Give me some hands up in the chatterization if you're seeing this story. I actually saw it first on Milan Christopher's page on Instagram, and then I went over to check it out on the Neighborhood Talk as well, because it popped up after that as well. I'm gonna pull it up here, the actual photo, and I want you guys to see it. And I want to have a real quick discussion about what we see here. Something is off, okay? Something is off, and we got to talk about it because it's real, and it's real out here in these streets. It's real in the field, okay? I want to start off by saying that, as a man in general, I don't like to talk about, women's bodies or beauty outside of, I may joke about a wig looking a little off. Okay. Sorry, Drew. But that's stuff that can be fixed, right? But people's looks is a little bit more sensitive. So I tend to not go into this type of discussion. But something is really off here. And, you know, people were kind of assuming that maybe she was lightening or bleaching. I don't know if that's the case. Clearly, there's something going on here that is different. Okay, that's what we're going to say. Let me just address this and say, one of the things that I always loved about Serena Williams, actually a couple, is one, you know, she gives me Amazon Black goddess warrior type vibes. You know what I'm saying? With her, you know, her build, she's kind of muscular. She gives you, you know, this goddess like, you know, especially when she's out there on the field, you know, on the court doing her thing. And there is something about that chocolatey skin gleaming in the sun. You know what I'm saying? So to me, you know, I just feel like she was already beautiful, right? Just, I mean, gorgeous. The definition of what I feel like beauty is to me, okay? So to see this today was a scooch disappointing to me, because this was posted onto her Instagram and it was subsequently removed, likely because of all of the comments that were made about what appears to be some very different visual effects going on with her face. Now, clearly to me, and I'm no plastic surgeon, I am no med spa specialist, I am no skincare specialist per se, but it seems as though either this is some real bad makeup or something else is awry here, okay? And so when we want to pull it up a little closer, as you can see, there is a very big difference in these three faces, okay? Nikki Proctor Walden says, damn, I didn't know she was auditioning for the reboot of White Chicks. What the hey? It was the ill-fitting shoes for me. I didn't even notice the shoes. Okay, so what I'm gonna say here is this. Thank you for that super chat, Nikki. In my mind, it seems like there has been a little bit of tweaking done here, maybe with the some fillers or some injectables and some discolorization, and I don't know what that's from. Okay. What I'm gonna say is this, you know, I feel like if you want to bleach your skin, if you want to get all types of injections, do what you want. Okay, do what you want. If you got the coin, do it. Okay, you are the person who has to be happy with yourself. I ain't got no problem with it. I just feel like sometimes if you go overboard, though, the people are gonna notice. So maybe in the future, a little more subtlety could be used in this instance. Okay. You know, it's just disappointing to me because my preference is the shot in the middle. Okay. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, that's what I love about her is this, oh my God, it's just beautiful to me. And I just hate that she, you know, had to go this route. And, you know, it's interesting that the photo has been pulled as well. People have been really kind of debating about this. And again, it is clearly her prerogative to look how she wants to look. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to judge it for being good, bad, or what. What I will say is that from the looks of it, is shockingly different in a way that I wasn't anticipating, and is a little bit disappointing to me. Okay. And I'm trying to be sensitive, y'all, because I understand the amount of pressure that I think people feel to look a certain type of way. especially if you're in the public eye a lot, because people will criticize you if you do or if you don't. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get something fixed or if you do get something fixed. So I don't want to be that person. But what I do want to say is when it goes too far, we got to talk about it, okay? Because this has gone too far. It's gone too far. It's gone too far. And I hope that the next time we see her, she is back to her normal gorgeous self. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. Moving right on along. Let's really get into the nuts and bolts of what we really got to talk about today. And I've been saying it from since the first couple of episodes of this season of Married to Medicine. I said, where is the quad and where is the Mariah? Okay. Nikki Proctor Walton says, way to clean up that lapse in judgment, Richie. And where is the hand, sir? Oh, where is that? I thought I had brought the hand in here. I took it off the desk. That's where it is. My bad. I got you, boo. I'm going to bring it back. Yeah, I'm trying to be sensitive because I also understand, the entertainment business is a harsh business. And, people are going to be critical of her before she did stuff. And then they're going to be critical after she may have allegedly did something, right? So I just feel like I want to be sensitive because I know how that type of thing affects people. And again, I'm in support of it. If you want to get whatever you tweaks and things you don't want to get done to your face or to your body, go ahead and do it. Just, be careful that you don't go too far in one direction, or another, such that the general public starts to feel like we start to lose you in the process. That's what I want. Okay. So next, back to the subject du jour. Okay. So in order for us to really have this conversation, we're going to have to take things over to our friends over at the Married to Medicine source. Okay. Now, if you guys have been keeping up with this season of Married to Medicine, I have got to tell you, first of all, Married to Medicine is one of my favorite reality shows. It's one of my favorite shows on Bravo. It has always been one of my favorites. I feel like this is a show where you don't need to change the cast that much. I do feel like they did miss a little bit of an opportunity if they had kept Buffy, but that's neither here nor there. But outside of that, I feel like, this is an ideal cast. Everything from Simone and Dr. Jackie, I feel like that dynamic is needed. You need a Toya on that show, okay? You also need Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly is one of the most outspoken people on that show, and I feel like she helps make the dynamic of that show, and her battles with Mariah are epic. And so I also feel like, you also need Mariah and you need Quad. And I also feel like you need the balance of Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott, because I feel like they land square in the middle of a very well put together cast, right? So with that being said, Quad and Mariah give you the outskirts of this type of show, right? Meaning they have these personalities that are so big that they round out that cast. And because I'm such a fan of it, I'm so invested in it, I have been really calling for them to bring these two ladies back. And so finally, it looks like we aren't the only ones who feel that way. Executive producer extraordinaire Carlos King also seconds this emotion, okay? What he says is this: random thought on a Monday. I enjoyed watching Quad last night. She has the I and the T, and she's needed. Been saying this the entire time. There's an effervescence about Quad that is just dynamite on screen. And she knows it. She knows it, right? And she owns it. She lives in it, right? But she's also a team player. You know what I mean? It's not like she just needs. I mean, listen, and people can argue about this, you know, one way or another. But in my mind, I feel like she is a team player. You know, watching her on this season, I feel like she's a team player. And maybe, hopefully, next season they'll just bring her back automatically, right? So he got it. To me, I feel like, yes, we're on the same page here. But so let's take things a step further, right? He also says this: I want to see MARIAH back on the show too. She is also needed. Okay, back to work I go. Now, basically for me, for him to come out and just basically say that publicly, right? Just out of the blue, tells you exactly how important it is, I think, even from a producer standpoint, that you bring these two ladies back to the fold. It is definitely missing something. This is no shade to Anila. It was going to be a tough job for her to try to not even replace those two ladies, but fill in the gaps that they left. And you just can't fill those gaps. You really can't. Not on this show. This show is a perfect masterpiece of a puzzle. And when you take these two pieces out, you don't have a complete puzzle with this particular show. You know, because we're watching for these marriages and these relationships, we want to see these ladies through until the very end, to be quite honest with you. Unless they're going to start another franchise, which they tried twice unsuccessfully. They tried with Houston, they tried with LA, but nobody gives it to us like this specific group of ladies. And in that regard, I feel like what you do is you keep the cast the way that it is. I don't need nothing new, because I don't need storylines for this show. Not storylines. You know what I'm saying? I don't need storylines. And what I mean by storylines is some pre-produced plot point, or thing that you have going on in specific to this particular year and season. I don't need that for this show. And quite frankly, I don't need it for every show. I don't always need storylines. I just need real people who are doing dynamic people who are doing real things. That's it. That's it. Okay. So anyway, off my soapbox, because I want to take you over to something else, right? So we got him saying that. Interestingly enough, what we also had here was this right here. So as you guys can see, MARIAH is looking like she's in agreement as well. Okay. Music 216, thank you for the super chat, who says the real problem is Andy. I would probably wager to say I think the real problem is maybe production and maybe someone at I don't know what it is. But I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on some of it in just a second. But thank you so much for the super chat, Music 216. You know I appreciate you. So what we have here is MARIAH basically chiming in and saying, I mean, the king, Carlos King, said it. I did not. He said what he said. Okay? Now, let's get into it. Why is this important? Okay? It is important because MARIAH showing her support in this regard would indicate that there is still a possibility that MARIAH could be brought back in the next season, or at least she sounds like she is open to it. Now, not to compare apples and oranges or MARIAH and Nene. I'm just using Nene as an example and MARIAH as to the MARIAH situation to show you guys why I feel like this could be a possibility. MARIAH's situation was handled a little bit more quietly, a little bit more discreetly, but she still showed support for Nene and her causes, even though we knew MARIAH was going through her own situations, but she just did so on a quieter level, which means that I feel like there would be more of an opportunity to bring her back into the fold because the issue was not so magnified and it wasn't as public in terms of what she was saying to the public as Nene's situation, right? So it may be a little bit easier to work her back into the network as a cast member moving forward. Okay. She moved a little bit differently in that situation. I'm not saying one is bad. I'm not saying one is good. I'm just saying because she moved in the way that she moved, I feel like there could be a door open for her to come back onto the franchise because to be quite honest with you, I feel like it needs it. It needs that Mariah energy. And again, it's just like I said, nobody can give us a Mariah and Dr. Heavenly fight like the two of them. We got Burruss who says it's definitely the production company's hashtag facts. Thank you so much for that super chat, Burruss. All right. So because I feel like she moved different, there's the opportunity for her to potentially come back. Now, whether or not they take her up on that, because it appears that they've already worked Quad back in and they've mentioned Quad much throughout the season, a lot of the season, right? I feel like there was so much talk of Quad, she might as well have been in the season the entire time. But there has been no mention of Mariah. But I still think that this show is missing something without her, to be very honest with you. But I think it's a step in the right direction that we have Quad back. I would enjoy seeing a bit more of, the relationship between, with Dr. Heavenly, Quad and Funky Dineva as well, because there's a real friendship there. I would like to see a little bit more of that explored. Because I think it adds an extra layer. Just like I enjoyed seeing Buffy bring in Jocelyn Hernandez. It was like, what is Jocelyn doing here? But it made for a moment. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you also need. You need moments. You know what I'm saying? To really round out the season and make it as spectacular as I think it could be. But that's all I got to say about that. I feel like I've stated my case time and time again. I will probably continue to do so. You got Carlos King, who has basically said it himself. He's one of the kings in this reality TV game. So you have that perspective. And I see a lot of you guys saying it too. And clearly, production and the network think that at least Quad deserves an opportunity to come back full time because they've talked about her the entire season. So I'm hopeful that we'll see, Quad throughout the rest of the next couple of episodes, and maybe even a little bit more of Lisa, Nicole, and Carrie. Like they've really not had much to do this season with regards to, any screen time and really actually contributing to the story in any way, shape, or form. If you're not going to show us what's going on in their lives, they need to be active, within the group other than just showing up late. Okay. But those are my thoughts. Listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate your commentary. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you for the mods. Thank you for the participation. I appreciate you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow with more news and commentary, and y'all know I always try to keep it as positive as possible. But sometimes we got to, have an honest dialogue. And sometimes we're going to do that. Sensibility Speaks says it sounds like egos are involved on Bravo's in preventing Mariah from coming back. I definitely think that there's something going on there. And I feel like in order to have, let's really think about the show first. Let's put the show first and make sure that we have a solid show and everybody can put their egos to the back burner. So I agree with you there. Sensibility Speaks. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.